Storytellers Campfire radio shows are heard in over 100 countries around the world. Our main programs are Author's Voice, Poetry Wheel, Storytellers Radio Show, The Golden Ark of Treasure, The Charlie Checkers Show, Campfire Musicians, and On the Line Public Interest News. Every show is unique and provides interesting programs for our listeners. Join us each week at our Campfire on Tuesday at 12 o'clock noon on XRQK Los Angeles and Airtime America. To learn more about Storytellers Campfire, visit online at storytellerscampfire.org.
Good evening, and welcome to Storytellers Campfire. This is Lady Selah-Sujuris hosting for our Writer's Circle segment, and tonight we are featuring The Wolves of Willoughby-Chase by Joan Aiken. But before that, we want to just give a few reminders of what's coming up on the program. Our Campfire Musicians segment will be coming up on May 12th, and this is with Matthew Sabatella and the Rambling String Band. Host will be Rich Gelhausen. I want to encourage everyone to take a listen to this show, but you have to hear it through our flagship station in Los Angeles. So you can do one of two things. You can go to storytellerscampfire.org and click on the broadcasting page, and there is a link to that show. Or you can go straight to xrqklosangeles.com, and there's a link on their page as well. This show will air at noon on Tuesday, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and then 8 o'clock p.m. Pacific Time. The show will also rebroadcast at 8 p.m. on Saturday. Isabella Hart will be with us on the 13th for Caddy the Lonely Monarch by Nancy Lorraine. On Story Tales on Friday, Rich Gelhausen will be hosting for The Model Millionaire by Oscar Wilde, and then Terry Irving makes a guest appearance for his book, The Courier. Charlie Checker's show debuts on May 19th, and I will be hosting a show for the latest new book in the Captain No Beard series with Carol P. Roman. On our Rare Book series on the 22nd, I will be featuring a rare book published in 1896 out of our very own library collection, and we'll be featuring My Lady Win and a couple of the short stories. Poetry Wheel comes up on the 24th, and then John Knuckle, who is on international book tour and the author of the trilogy The Vig, Grit, and Blind Trust, will be sharing some interesting things about his experience as a writer. Also, the Summer Reading Parade program begins on May 27th with Isabella Hart, and she will be featuring for 10 weeks throughout the summer vacation break books that children can read, also activities that coincide with those books. And then we will have a dual fireside chat in the month of May. The 31st, all the hosts will get together, and we want to give everyone a clear preview of all the changes, all the things that are happening. They're very exciting changes and new shows that are debuting on Storytellers Campfire. So we want everyone to hear all the good things to look forward to. And that'll happen on the 31st of May. We'll take a commercial break, and then we'll be right back for The Wolves of Willoughby-Chase.
Hi, this is Jennifer Coolidge. The American Heart Association says the disco song Stayin' Alive is the near-perfect beat for hands-only CPR. If you see a teen or adult collapse from cardiac arrest, you only need 2 steps to help save a life. Call 911 and push hard and fast in the center of the chest to the beat of the song Stayin' Alive. Disco is back and it's saving lives. To learn more, go to heart.org/hands-only-CPR.
Nationally supported by the WellPoint Foundation.
Welcome back to Storytellers Campfire in Progress, and this is our Writer's Circle segment, and tonight we are featuring The Wolves of Willoughby and authored by Joan Aiken. Now, Joan Aiken was a British writer. She was born in East Sussex. She specialized in writing fiction and children's alternative history novels, which is what the Wolves of Willoughby-Chase is about. But before we get to that, just a little bit of interesting information about her history and her background. Her father was actually a Pulitzer Prize winner, and that took place back in he was born between 1889 and lived till 1973. So he was Conrad Aiken. And then she had a brother. He was also a writer, John Aiken. And her older sister was also a writer, Jane Aiken Hodge. Now her mother, who was actually Canadian, she was a graduate with a master's degree from Radcliffe College. Now, Joan herself did not attend the universities. However, she was taught by her mother, mentored by her sister and brother, and had a wonderful set of examples to follow, especially through her father's work as well, all in the literature community. So she really had a good foundation in literature. Now, Joan didn't wait until she was through with her education through her family and helping her write literature. She actually began writing very young, and some of her stories came to the public limelight when she was still a young girl. However, by the time she was 16, her first story was published, and then again at 17, and so on. And then she just continued to go from there. Now, she did attend Wychwood School for Girls in Oxford, and she continued to write, but she actually had her own career as well. She worked for various different organizations, and then as she was gaining success and her writings were well received in the literature community, she decided to change her career course, and she went into writing full-time. So she has a wonderful history and background, and I encourage people to, take a look at some of the more interesting details. However, she went on to become a celebrated author, and many people, of all the works that she did, The Wolves of Willoughby-Chase, a children's novel, was one of the most successful. As I mentioned earlier, it was published in 1962, and it basically is an alternative history of England. And the novel is first in the Wolves Chronicles, which is a series of books that were set during the fictional 19th century reign of King James III. Now, which didn't exist. What's interesting about Joan's writing and her style is that this is actually fantasy. This is how things wanted to go. This is how things wanted to be seen, which is fantasy. And she was able to tumble it and turn it into alternate history of England. So that's pretty unique for such a young person to be able to do, to have the understanding and the know-withal of the inner workings of the kingdom and the dynasty and the politics, and be able to weave that into the stories and the characters that she does through this book. That's quite a challenge, but it does tell you something about Joan Aiken and her mind and her ability to transfer what was in her mind to the written word. So we're going to share a little bit about this story. Now, there's all kinds of interesting characters, and then I'll give you a little bit more of the plot. But there's Bonnie Green, and Bonnie is adventurous and she's confident. She has a temper, and she obviously is somewhat spoiled, but at the same time she's bright and she's very good-natured. In her physical description, she's described in the book with dark hair, intelligent blue eyes, small, strongly built, and full of energy. Now, Sylvia Green, these are cousins now. She's quiet, she's polite, she's ladylike. She likes to have fun, but she also has this very serious side to her. And everything at Willoughby Chase is extravagant and royal. Now, they're in this very sheltered life, and Bonnie is this very vibrant personality. And so this is a draw for Sylvia, and she wants to be part of Bonnie's adventures. In the physical description of the story, Sylvia has fair hair, very delicate. She has both a strong build and a constitution, but sickly. So it's a very interesting contrast that Joan is arriving at. And as you read the story, you actually see where the opposites are attracting each other. Sylvia is drawn to Bonnie because of her bigger-than-life personality, and Bonnie is drawn to Sylvia, more out of a looking to nurture her, teach her, show her the ways, so to speak. Now then there's Aunt Jane Green, and she is the aunt of Bonnie and Sylvia, and sister to Sir Willoughby. She's very good-natured, but strict, and she's also a very proud woman. She also is so proud that she won't ask for help. However, she sets up